example that we can use for the OAuth. Where is it? We've got, if we go down here, one-time passcode, pass keys, emails. Look at this. It's amazing what we can do. Social connections here, right? So if we go to social connections, detailed guides, we can see here we've got Google. And then if we go down to, we've already done all that. We don't need to do that. There's a great example of this in sign in with OAuth.
Fighting back side, bro.
Okay, there is a great example of it in the code somewhere. I will show you otherwise, but was it here? I don't think it was here even. I think it might have been in social connections, custom auth. Here we have straight to this page because we're signed in. Amazing, you are signed in. Perfect stuff. Let's do it on here as well. Sign in with Google. Look, we get pushed over here, sunny.sanga. Let's go ahead and log into my Google account, and boom, we are in. It says this screen does not, oh, that's because this is not the up-to-date. When it says cannot connect to Metro, you need to make sure you restart your build. So right now, that was actually the old build, but the token is still there now. You are signed in, okay? So this is looking great. It's working pretty awesome at the moment. So change the clock version to 2.2.5. Yes, exactly. Digital Alchemist, make sure you definitely do that. Otherwise, you will fall into an issue. And everyone's at Hein as well. Yeah, see guys, it definitely works. We were already in contact with the team to let them know about that little error. It is a little error. They'll be fixing it by end of day already, so you don't have to even worry about that fix. Right, let's carry on. For now, at the top of the page, so we are logged in, right? I want to create the log outflow, and then we can build the entire video calling app. That's okay. I know it sounds crazy, but we're going to build the entire app there. All right, so first up, I want to actually, inside of my, let's just have a, I'm going to have a touchable opacity. I'll show you right now. Touchable opacity, import this like so. Set dialog open. You might be wondering, what is he on about? Well, first off, right, if we were simply to get rid of the on press here and do a refresh. So let's pull this in, you can see. So again, you see how it's not refreshing? R. Press R and on the in the terminal. So click terminal, press R to refresh all your apps. Sometimes it can happen, especially when you're switching around. And you can see we have the little that we're going to use, right? And it's basically responsible for working cross-platform, and it's very, very simple to install. We do npm I React Native Dialog. So we take it over, Command J, head over to the second tab, and we install npm I React Native Dialog. Cool. Now, once that's done, this will install the dependencies that we need. Now, you may, at this point, experience a little issue when we start using it, right? And this is where we start needing to do some development build stuff, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Right now, what I need you to do is we're going to go ahead and basically add the dialog container into our app. So if you see here, we import dialog from React Native Dialog, hit save, and the little sign out from use auth, which is provided by Clerk. So Clerk, again, abstracting all the complexity here. And if I click this now, are you sure you want to sign out? If we click cancel, it just closes. If we click sign out, boom, we hit 200 likes. Let's hit 300, guys. Come on, keep smashing that like button. If we click sign out now, look at this, boom. Okay, our sign up flow works. If I hit refresh by hitting R on the keyboard, bam. If I sign in with Google, don't worry about the sign in with development keys, it's fine. Accounts.google, papareact.team@gmail.com, log back in, and then we'll redirect to the index page, and we are signed back in. And the whole flow is complete in 891. And whenever you copy on your clipboard, if you just click here, you can see paste, verify email, I'm signed in. Okay? So you guys can, that's proof in the pudding that you can do it. But I want to make sure I've signed in with Google because I get all the nice extra token stuff here. So let's just sign in and we can carry on, right? So authentication flow done. Right, get stream is next. So Clerk, firstly, thank you for making that easy. Little slip with the versioning, however, if you're watching it, it will be fixed by the time we get to it, so do not worry guys, it's all good. Okay, now after all calls, we are going to, we have the
last player standing.
we have this, sorry guys, that's a weird little alarm noise. Is that the song?
Joke's over. You're dead.
One enemy remaining.
Okay.
Too stupid.
Threw me off. I could hear like a little alarm. I was like, what is that? live stream problems. Live streams being, this is the reality of a live stream, right? But let's fly through. All right, we're doing pretty good now for pace. All right, so platform looks awesome. Yeah, honestly, guys, it looks really great. Now we've done that bit. Now the next step is and as you can see, guys, ID is there, right? And if we go to the call screen, remember I deactivated if we go to the layout here, I actually said if the root name is ID, then deactivate. And as you can see, if I get rid of it, it's there, right? But that's because when we go to that screen, I want it to be full screen without the tab there. So when we click that, it will deactivate the tab bar, okay, which is great. We want that. Now, the only thing here is I want to change the ordering. So what I do is I can basically make the tab. So we've got the ordering here. So we've got 1 and 2, and then 3rd is being rendered after. What we can do is here, I can go ahead and add in a 3rd tab. So let's go ahead and add in a tab screen, which correlates to, let's just close this up. Like so. And as you can see, we've got the ID in the middle now. So it's 1, 2, which being the ID screen, and 3, right? This is a wildcard, so any value can go there to reflect the ID. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting tripped out. All right. Now we're going to start a new call here. So we're going to say start new call, but obviously we're hiding the title. But again, I'm showing you in case you just want it, right? Now there is a very important thing here that I want to mention. When we go back and forth between tabs, it does not refresh the component. Like it won't unmount and mount, because tabs are basically like, if you've loaded it once, circle, I believe it was. Yeah, so, okay, this one's interesting. So basically you see the design here that we have. So this little plus. I've done a little bit of a hack here with a bit of styling, and I'll show you what I've come out with. So this is what I came out with. But if we go ahead and import view, import the font awesome,
scaling lower,
and then here, so this right here is a little bit of a hacky approach, but you can see all I've essentially done is I've created a little kind of circle which sticks out from by using absolute positioning, and it creates this nice kind of elevated start a new call approach. Now when I click it, you see I'll be on the call screen, and this is where I'll see the entire call. So at that point I would be seeing, you know, the user on the phone to whoever they are, and then when you click on end call, you basically go back to the previous screen. Okay, so that's essentially what we're going to do. We can also click back on the phone to go back, right? So that's why the Android simulator is pretty good, because you've also got the back button as well. So that's looking pretty cool off the bat. Again, you can pause, look at that for yourself if you want a little inference or a little reference, sorry. So great stuff. Okay, now next step is the phone call itself. So this is really where the magic is going to happen. So what I need to do is I've done the phone setup in a way. So as you can see, the design spec from our client, right, is saying that every time a call gets created, we basically have this special random name for the call ID. So in this case, this call ID was Mango Orange Monkey, right? So I'll show you, and every single time, I know I said that out, but every single time that you create a new call, it will generate a new thing. It could be like flaky gray elephant, right, or whatever the case. But then you basically use side, we can go ahead and do a couple of cool things. So if we head over to our dashboard, let me see, where is it? If I head over to my dashboard, let me go inside. As you can see, I'm inside of my dashboard. I created an app, so all you need to do is click on create app, and you get a bunch of test ones you can go ahead and do. You can set this all up yourself. It's all good. You even got Tokyo, or you can clone the existing app. We're going to do development environment. Click on Papa, and now inside of here, you can see we've got keys and secrets. Okay, so this is the next step in our journey. So what we're going to do is we actually need to create a get stream API key. Okay, so inside of our environment variables, so over here .env, I'm going to go ahead and create a expo public get stream API key. Now here, I want you to go ahead and simply copy an API existing key. So in this case, if you haven't got one, create a key, and it'll create one for you. So simple as you can go ahead and copy the key. So copy that key, and you can basically use it like so. This is public key, doesn't matter. It's completely interesting is React Native. Now remember, we are using React Native, but we're using the Expo framework. So it's worth realizing that there's going to be a couple of differences that we will have to take into consideration. For example, it says npx pod install. When you see that, look for Expo somewhere, because I guarantee, you see Expo installation, we are not using raw React Native, we're using Expo.
Player
And
standing.
Expo has
60
benefits, because when we do MPX Expo install, it installs all the dependencies for iOS and Android without the need to eject. Do not eject the app at this point, right? Do not do that, right? We don't need to do that at all in this build. We need to go inside of our app.json file. It's very important, right? The app.json. Okay, Jay's gonna know why I'm laughing at that. Right, so
Yeah,
inside
I
of the
got peek at that
app.json
start,
file,
yeah.
we're gonna see we have the plugins. Where is it? Plugins here, Expo Router, right? So here we want to add a couple of things. So first
Guys,
up,
just play in sight and
we
fight
have
together,
the
okay?
Expo build properties that it's telling us about,
I don't
right?
have a smoke for
So
a
this
while.
one you want to basically add in here. So boom, like so.
I'm blind. Flash.
Expo build properties. Add it as I've added it. So literally taking it as the example I've added. Then we need a config plugin for React Native Web RTC. Right. So in this case, guys, you do not need to worry about all of this rubbish. Go back instead. And now, what I want you to do is instead of all of that, we're going to add in the following to our app. Okay. So once we've installed that, underneath the get stream, we added that here. I want you to add in the following array: React Native permissions, iOS permissions, camera, microphone. Okay, and that is enough to get what we need ready. Okay, now I believe that's not all, so that's not everything. If we go up, by the way, I completely skipped a step, I believe. No, I didn't skip a step, but you should also do an additional step here. So get set up, right? So we needed to do that step. You can take your time with it. There's going to be a bit of issues as well. There's a known issue as well if you're on version anything below 1.118, and you may have to do this if you're below Expo 49. Okay, so then after we're done with that, we can head over to the client setup, right? So this is the next step, really. This is really the important part, is to get the whole phone call setup working. So where do we do all of this? Well, this is actually inside of the layout. So if I close all of these and we go to app, we go into, assets, so I don't need that right now. App call layout. This is where we're going to do a lot of this. So you can see here, stream video client. Okay, so we need to do that right now. So on top of the tabs, but within the safe area view, we can do it here. We can say stream video. Now, as you can see, nothing is being loaded. And that is either down to two things. One, I haven't installed the required dependency, or two, I don't think I have installed the dependency. Yeah. So let's go back. Introduction, React Native, Expo. We did install it all. Was there an error? Let's have a look. No, it's done. So sometimes it's just slow on the auto importing. So let's just try for ourselves. There we go. So import the statement. Missing API key. That's fine for now. You can just do a refresh. Go down here, hit refresh, and then we should see that there's no longer missing API key. Okay. Cool. Now, once we're here, we need the actual client. So we are going to go ahead and create the client. Well, firstly, we're going to use it. So let's just say stream video client equals client. And then we're going to have a closing one. We're going to take the closing one, go all the way outside this tabs and paste it there. Okay, so our entire app is surrounded by it. Now, obviously, we don't have a client. So the client will look something like this. So outside here, we're going to say stream video client, get or create instance. Then we need the API key, user, token provider, which is actually going to be using our Next.js backend, which we yet to create. And that's going to set things up. And then we have the options here of basically doing something with the error messages. So if you do want to console log a couple of errors, this is how you would do it. For now, I'm just not doing anything with it, right? So how do WebRTC module is not found, That is because I actually forgot to do something else. I actually try the implement.
ISO site, so if I have it.
If you're trying to use modular as export and export, go. Okay, so this is because, yes, okay. So now is where we start hitting the native stuff problems, right? So because we're using streaming, videos, all that stuff, this is where it will break. Because Expo Go cannot do native module dependency work. Now, what does this mean? Basically, we have just installed by doing npm expo. So if you remember here, this, as soon as you start doing this stuff, npx expo install, you are starting to install native dependencies, okay? So what you have to be aware of now is that you see this, our SDK is not available on Expo Go due to native code being required, but you can use the Expo dev client library to run. Now, there's two ways of doing this. You can do it locally, but there's a ton of setup, so I'm not gonna get into that, right? Or you can use EAS. EAS is a free service. They have a very generous free tier, and then they have like queues and concurrency limits. But for now, we're gonna use EAS. So in order to do this, what we do is we do npx expo install expo dev client, okay? So I'm gonna go down here and do npx expo install expo dev client. And as you can see, installing one SDK 51 compatible and a module npx install. Cool. Okay. Now verify your EAS JSON configuration. All right. So in this case, we go to your EAS.json file, and there's a couple of things that we have to do here. Okay. So EAS. Let's go down here. EAS JSON. Where's it gone? We don't actually have an EAS JSON file. So if you don't have it, you will run this EAS build profile. So I want to do just a default name for the Android application. That's fine. And this generating a new Android key store. Yes. This will start doing a build, which I don't actually want. So I'm going to cancel, right? Cancel that. So do it, but cancel it before it creates a new build. The reason being is I don't want to use up any of my concurrency limits on when we're demoing. I'm going to show you what we need to do ahead of time to make sure it's ready, right? Firstly, new CLI version is what I had, so hopefully nothing breaks. But anyway, so we've got development preview production. I actually am going to create a new profile here called development simulator. Okay, so development simulator, and inside of here we're going to say development client is true, distribution internal. So we're going to copy this. So it's basically the same as development, but I'm going to add my own custom take on it, which basically I'm going to have environment variables firstly. Now, the environment variables, when we build this, because remember, this is being built on EAS servers, right? So this, first, you remember, don't ever put any sensitive data here, but in this case, these are all public keys. So copy our public keys and put them here as well, okay? So put them here. Now, you might need to actually go ahead and firstly have to do this accordingly. Oops. And then the last one, do the following, like so.